How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's a wacky Wednesday, folks. There is some very amazing, stupid, screwy, very evil stuff going on. I'm going to cover some things that have happened, but they're getting ready. They're getting ready to really fuck us all over. It's coming. They can't win this game with us. The world has woken up. We've all woken up enough. Typically, you can tell as the child is waking up in bed, you're like, hush, hush, go back to sleep. It's okay. It was just a bad dream. It was just a nightmare. Nothing to worry about. Except people have woken up. It was not just a nightmare. It is the world we are living in right now. Let's get into it. At the State of the Union address, there was a guest lineup. Normally you do things like they did last night to try and, help the world kind of understand and feel better. Right? So they brought out some war heroes. They brought out the gold medal hockey team. And they brought out a grieving mother. And then they brought out a girl who was hurt by an illegal driver, right? The Democrats brought out a wife-beating MS-13 murder member, and also he's an accused human trafficker, and that's what they brought out. That's how insane it is, folks. You want to know how else insane it is? I've been trying to comment in the comment section. And YouTube told me I can't, everything I was saying was spam. Everything I was saying spam. I'm going to try it right now. I'm going to just put in the word hi. Let's see. Yep. YouTube rejected my comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. I wrote the fucking word hi. H-I. They're doing it again, folks. They're doing it. And they know why they're doing it. If you guys want to talk, if you've got a comment, a question, thought, put it in all caps in the comment section. Hopefully you're able to do that as well. Mikey says, I see it. Well, there's two Prepared Mind channels going right now. We've got the one with 5,700 subscribers and the one with 80,000 subscribers. One of them is being told no. In any event, let's continue, folks. Let's continue, shall we? I'm pretty disgusted. In fact, I'm very, very disgusted with our government, with all governments around the world. I'm disgusted with bankers, financiers, billionaires, CEOs, and folks, they're not getting arrested in America, but guess what they're doing? Guess what they're doing? You got it. CEOs and important people are resigning now. At first, they weren't. There was no arrests, no resignations, nothing was going on. But now, around the world, hackers everywhere are unredacting the names. Hackers everywhere are unredacting the pictures. Hackers everywhere are unredacting the videos, exposing the videos, showing these sick motherfuckers and everything they're admitting to doing. Drinking children's blood, getting transfusions, having baby factories where they impregnate children. As soon as they're capable, like a 10, 11-year-old girl, they're impregnating them so they can have access to babies that are off the record. These are some sick people, not to mention the cannibalism, the rape, the gang rape, the trafficking, the torture, the fucking insanity. But it's more than just that, folks. The whole world has lost its mind. There is no rule of law anymore. Understand, as you drive around, as I drive around, and I come to a stoplight or a stop sign and I obey the traffic rules, as I walk to the door on a store and I open it up and allow people to enter, those public courtesies, those rules of conduct, they don't matter. They don't matter because the governments, including Washington, D.C., or should I say, especially Washington, D.C., and especially Tel Aviv, and especially Brussels, they don't give a fuck anymore. Hungary, the country Hungary, had their energy blown to pieces, a pipeline, by Ukraine. So Hungary has declared that the European Union has a treaty that obliges the European Union to defend a member state, Hungary. And also NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has their Article 5. If any NATO country is attacked or damaged, you, NATO, all of you have to go to war against the aggressor. Well, Ukraine attacked Hungary and Slovakia by destroying pipeline and their energy security. It was a direct attack on two NATO countries. Article 5, European Union. Why isn't NATO militarily defending NATO members as well as European Union member nations that have been attacked? Why? Because it's a bunch of lawless bullshit. And the European Union and NATO approve of terrorism. They approve of terrorism even against their own member states, even against their allies. You know, as the saying goes, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Viktor Orban, leader of Hungary, is pissed. Their spokesman is pissed. Here's a quote that came from Hungary. Quote, Brussels sides with non-member Ukraine instead of Hungary. This is a breach of duty. Folks, the world is escalating in a downward spiral right to hell. Literally right to hell. And it's going to get nastier. The government, according to many people, is trying to get to Plandemic 2.0. They want to roll out a universal vax. They want to quarantine people. They want to inject everybody. Their test phase is over. It's now time to go on to the next thing. Oh, be prepared, folks. We don't know what's going to happen next. Right? The military, according to many, is on the verge of mutiny with respect to being in warships sitting in front of at least two countries that want to bomb the shit out of them. 4, if you count not only Iran and Israel, but Russia and China as well. They're sitting ducks. Absolutely sitting ducks. Yep, Trojan horse attack. You betcha. They know no limits, folks. They know no limits. You know, back at home here, a retarded whore of a Democrat congresswoman mocked and laughed at our heroic veterans who were awarded medals during the State of the Union speech. Now, medals are important. It's recognition and national appreciation that's being shown with a medal. The State of the Union is a politicized circus. And I think the outstanding, the brave veterans who were awarded should have had a private ceremony away from these communist fucks. I'm also certain that they would rather receive these medals from their own OICs and COs, officers in charge or commanding officers, than to have a politician award them. After all, wasn't it Barack Obama, when he was president, who awarded the President's Medal to Bill Gates, Epstein buddy, Ellen DeGeneres, Epstein's buddy, Tom Hanks, Epstein's buddy, and everyone else that seemed to be Epstein's buddy. Oh, folks, the whole thing is it's literally a giant shit show. Bill Gates, speaking of this piece of shit, he came out and apologized to his staff for his Epstein ties, and he admitted to having affairs with not one but two Russian women. I don't give a fuck if Bill Gates apologizes to his staff. Did he apologize to all of America? Did he apologize to the underage, little teeny, innocent girls that he is alleged to have raped because of his Epstein ties and his Epstein visits? Two Russian women, Russian hookers. Who cares? What about Bill Gates and his desire to poison the world, alter our environment, and change the weather? His lies about COVID-19 and the vax of death, right? What about the Bill Gates philanthropy meetings that he had with Epstein that involved small children and the Epstein satanic rapes, deaths, and cannibalism? He's not going to apologize for any of that, right? He may as well. He may as well just come right out and admit it. They still will not arrest him. Did you know that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that? I do. I believe Epstein could admit to anything. I'm sorry, Bill Gates. Oh, speaking of Epstein, someone reviewed the autopsy report and discovered something quite interesting. Are you ready for this? One more reminder. Questions, comments, thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're here with me live, if you're on thepreparedmind.club, if you're on subscribestar.com, if you're on Ooman on X, well, you're here live right now. And I want to know what's on your mind. Is this all bullshit? Does this not matter to you guys? Or do you have something to say, some thoughts on this? I want to hear your thoughts, right? Bill Gates apologizes to his staff. How about apologizing to your wife, your children, America? He could admit to anything and it wouldn't matter. Here's my example. You guys have heard of the Keystone Cops, right? That's an old movie thing, black and white, all the way back to the golden age, the very beginning of entertainment. The Keystone Cops were a bunch of idiot police running around. Now we have the Keystone FBI, and they have raided the home of a far-left Democrat Los Angeles Unified School District superintendent. Whoa! Good job, Keystone FBI. Now, the FBI raids this person, raided him because he is likely a corrupt, self-serving asshole in California. I have no doubts. There's lots of self-serving, corrupt assholes in schools across the country. We hear about them all the time from these school board meetings where they want to continue to have homosexual and transgender pornography with pictures available for children so that these children can read about older men having anal sex with little boys. Yep, they want to have that. Right? So I know they're corrupt, but hey, you know, they can arrest a school district superintendent, but they can't raid, arrest, and bring to justice all of the billionaire buddies, all of the CEOs that know and hang out with Trump and are sponsored and funded by Israel for all of their kidnapping and raping and hunting and murdering and eating children and breeding children for new babies, for which the FBI doesn't have megabytes of information. They don't have gigabytes of information. They have fucking terabytes of child porn, murder, and God knows what else, torture, showing all of these billionaires committing the most insane, the most evil crimes ever. So yeah, Bill Gates could probably just admit to everything. Fuck it. They already know. The FBI knows. They know all about Epstein. They know all about Gates. They know all about Trump. Everything these guys have all done. All of them. Republicans, Democrats, businessmen, bankers, Israelis, Americans. It doesn't matter. They have it all. And they've done nothing. Well, I mean, hey, after all, it doesn't matter if they've committed the most insane and evil crimes ever recorded. I mean, in the Bible, the Israelites, the Jews of the Bible were sacrificing children to Moloch, called passing them through the fire, burning them to death. What these people are doing today makes that look tame. Tame. But, Trump said his friends would get hurt if they revealed who they were. His friends would be hurt if justice was served. So go arrest FBI, go arrest more low-level communist teachers, you FBI studs, you. What a fucking joke. You can't be mad enough at these people. You can't. You can't be mad enough at these fucking whores in Congress selling themselves for a couple of shekels. A couple of fucking shekels. Trump doesn't want his friends to get hurt. Oh, it's going to get worse, folks. It's going to get worse. I've seen nobody in the comments. Is YouTube censoring everybody? Putting in a quick message. And hey, it let me through. How about that? The guy that owns the fucking channels is responsible for being entertaining and informative, is actually allowed to write hi there in the comments. Wow. Folks, yeah, the Keystone FBI, they're on it. They're on it. They're getting warmed up, You guys hear about the Bay of Pigs? Yeah, the Bay of Pigs incident. Well, that was the back in the 60s, the early 60s when John F. Kennedy was president. Yeah. Okay. Man, just let me know that he's not going to make it. The Bay of Pigs. Bay of Pigs. The CIA decided to invade Cuba with a bunch of anti-communist, anti-Castro Cuban exiles, and they failed. Well, something else just happened today. Wait, we'll get back to that. I'm sorry, folks, in Iran, the situation is getting really, 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 really hot. It looks like military action is getting very, 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 very close. Tonight, Marco Rubio and I believe J.D. Vance are going to convene a meeting with some military people and some oversight people from the government to discuss what's going to happen about Iran. The situation is getting really, 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 really hot. Didn't Trump just tell us yesterday that he, the president of the United States, is the one who makes the decision? So why is the Secretary of State? Why are these people having a meeting if the president is involved? Now, folks, I have actually in my life spent hours, I've spent days and days and days reviewing actual military action, military campaigns, military battles. I've studied the men that fought, the men that died, the men that lived, the men that were heroes, how they did it, why they did it, how they didn't want fame and fortune, right? I spent those days and days, folks, and I discovered the reasons for those military actions. All right. Thank you, Robin, putting a question up. We'll get to you shortly. Very good one. The reasons for those actions became clear. It was always a patriotic duty that caused men and women to get in the military, to do everything they could, up to and including fighting and risking their lives and surrendering their lives in incredible battles so they could win for America and win freedom for everyone, for not just themselves, for everyone. But never, never, never have I heard or read about Americans fighting one nation because some other nation paid our politicians' campaign costs and donated money to their retirement. Never have I heard that another nation's politicians paid our politicians, and then Americans were like, now we're ready. I want to go fight and die. No, this is a fucking shameful situation. Shameful. Our Navy, our Marines, the Air Force, the Army are almost in a situation that cannot be turned around with Iran because Israel donated $250 million to Trump. And they've donated how many millions and billions of dollars have they donated to the Democrats and Republicans in Congress and in the Senate? That's why we need to go fight Iran, huh? Iran's missiles can't touch America. Iran hasn't been shooting our commerce ships, right? Our commercial ships, our oil tankers. No, that would be the Houthis and the Somalis and the Yemenis. Oh, but John, Iran is supplying him with weapons. Well, how do we know that? Because they found pieces of the weapons and they appear to be made in Iran. Well, right now, Iran is buying their weapons from China. So how could we say that things are being supplied by Iran to the Yemenis and the Sudanese and the fucking Filthinese and the Somalis, right? But hey, over in Mexico, the other direction, the Mexican drug cartels are being caught with weapons manufactured by the United States and by Israel. Does that mean the United States government and the Israeli government are supplying military-grade weapons, guns, ammunition, rockets, equipment, transportation, helicopters, planes, jets? Are they supplying that because, well, it looks like it was made in America? We'll never know. And they will never tell the fucking truth. So, questions, comments, down below. I want to know what's on your mind. Back to the Bay of Pigs. Cuba. We were told, Venezuela. Oh yeah, you're bad. You're bad. Venezuela. Went down and we got their leader, right? And then it was going to be a look out, Colombia. Look out, Cuba. You guys are next. Right? We heard that. By the way, they're continuing and finding more drug boats to blow up. I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that. These boats are loaded with drugs. You don't need 3 or 4 400 horsepower outboard motors attached to a $10,000 piece of shit skiff. Each of those motors, by the way, is somewhere between $60,000 and $100,000. You've got somewhere around $250,000 to $300,000 in high power motors attached to a $10,000 bathtub that floats, that they're stuffing full of drugs and trying to run out of there. I'm not buying that they're fishermen. I'm not buying it. I mean, they could take that boat out every day and fill it to the rim, to the brim with fish. Out and then back with fish till those motors melted down and there wouldn't be enough fish to pay for those fucking motors. See what I'm saying here? See what I mean? There's no way that they could afford to put motors like that and as many motors as that on a fucking fishing boat. They're lying. Those are drug speedboats. So now let's get back into it. The Bay of Pigs was a failed incident. It was a failed takeover. But today, Cuba had a problem with a boat. A Florida boat. Florida registered speedboat. Apparently was inside Cuba's territorial waters. And Cuba claims it killed 4 of the passengers and wounded 6 others because the boat was speeding through their waters. Now, I don't believe anything a fucking Cuban politician would say or a Cuban newspaper or media would say. I don't believe any of what they have to say, but I have questions. I'll listen to the report just like I listen to our retarded, lying fucking government. Right? Cuba claims the boat, as it was speeding through their territorial waters, when intercepted by one of their coastal vessels, decided they were going to shoot, decided they were going to open fire on a Cuban military boat. And so the Cubans shot back and then captured him. By the way, not a single American name has been given to us. I think that Cuba is full of shit. I think our government would love to use this as an excuse to go after Cuba. I remember hearing about all the drugs from Venezuela and these drug boats and all the drugs that could be coming from Colombia and Cuba. And then I asked the question back then. I was like, hey, what about Mexico? What about Vancouver, where the most fentanyl from the entire illegal drug system, the most fentanyl comes through Vancouver, Canada, into America, not from Venezuela. That's not the most. Not from Colombia. That's not the most. And from Cuba, that's not the most. The most drugs comes through Canada. But I said, hey, I think Mexico is number 2. Why? Because they also share a border with the United States of America. Mexico, they have at least 3 massive, powerful, military-equipped drug cartels. Many of their weapons came from results of Ukraine arms. America sent military equipment to Ukraine. It was taken and sold to drug dealers and terrorists around the world. But we're supposed to be mad, right? We're supposed to be mad at who? So Mexico's drug cartels run the fucking country, and they're the ones allowing Gloria Sheinbaum, not very Mexican sounding, to be their president, and she wants to protect the drug cartels because they have rights. They have rights. Well, apparently, I guess someone decided maybe we should not allow these drug cartels to run the country, and now we have chaos in that fucking country, where 25% of the world's silver comes from, as well as other incredibly important mineral resources. Not just gold, but zinc and copper and lead. Unbelievable. The world is full of fucking craziness, folks. So we got Grand Theft Boat, not Grand Theft Auto. We got GTB, drug running around Cuba. Maybe that was a Cuban boat. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is they're all liars. They're all full of shit. Right? Maybe they weren't running drugs from Cuba. Maybe they were Cuban coyotes running people who could afford to pay them to speed them out of Cuban waters. Right? There's more holes in this fucking story than Bill Gates' story about why he was such good buddies with Epstein and had to visit him constantly. This may be used as an excuse to go after Cuba next, folks. Right? Because we can trust our government in America to fight wars for the right reasons, like Iran, and to make sure American interests are cared for. Well, at least corporate interests, like going down to Venezuela, capturing their president, kidnapping him out of the country, holding him criminally liable for gun law violations in Venezuela and then saying, okay, American oil companies can now go to Venezuela and set everything up and make lots of money off of us. What are they going to do with Cuba? What good is Cuba? Cuba cannot even support itself. Can we trust our government, which apparently can't seem to arrest pedophiles that they have videos, pictures, and letters from, talking about how they kidnap, rape, hunt, kill, impregnate, murder, and then fucking eat children? But no, they know how to run Mexico. They know how to run Venezuela. They know how to tell Ukraine to live. They know that Russia's evil, obviously, and Iran is terrible. I trust no one these days, folks. There is no honor in any of these people in government anywhere. Any of them, including Cuba. Crazy business. Let's do this. It is a wacky fucking Wednesday. I'm going to go to the transition, and not the gay kind of transition, not the freaky faggoty kind, but where we transition from my monologue to your thoughts. So get your thoughts down below in the comments. Down below in the comments. Oh, YouTube is letting me know that one of my videos has to be penalized. Just pop through on the email. Thanks a lot, YouTube. You guys suck dicks. All right, we are back. Mikey G, the consummate smartass, says, of course we need to attack Cuba because they need a new Havana Trump Tower. By the way, a massive area of Cuba was smashed by a storm, flooded, destroyed. Interestingly, they already had plans for that city to turn it into one of the new modern 15-minute cities where everything you could possibly need or want is right there. You can't leave. You're trapped. You're a fucking prisoner in a city-size prison where you go to work and you pay your taxes and then you go home and then you cook a little bit of food and you're allowed to go here and go there as long as it's within your city. Interesting, right? They had development plans for that city in Cuba. Kind of like Israel under King Bibi, I'm a Semite, but not really, Netanyahu. In fact, Israelis are forbidden from taking DNA tests because their DNA will show that they are not Semites. They are not Israelites. They don't want to take that chance and expose themselves. Many of them have, and that's why we know that they don't qualify as Semites. They're fucking liars. Now, those non-Semite Israelis who are Zionist Talmudic scum decided to flatten absolutely Gaza. And I'm no fan of terrorists, folks. I hate them. I think all terrorists should be killed. But every single man and woman and child is a terrorist. And so they have killed every single man, woman, and child they can, including Americans, including over 250 members of the international press. Fuck it, just kill them all. Flatten everything they can. And then President Trump's son-in-law shows up with a demonstration board showing how they're going to develop and turn the Gaza Strip into an amazing resort city right on the coast. And all the happy Israelis will have homes and condominiums, townhomes, and custom villas and palatial mansions that the rest of the world will pay for because of Holocaust reparations that everyone needs to pay because they lived through the Holocaust. What's coming out? These people are all scum. But yeah, Mikey, New Havana Trump towers can soon go up in Venezuela, Puerto Vallarta, Medellin, and over in Cartagena on the coast in Colombia. You bet. We need to have these people ready to just kill everybody. Folks, I hate drug dealers. I hate communists. I despise the people that want to tell children to cut off their genitals. All of these fucking people. And now I'm going to go to this comment from Robin. She says, I do not recognize this world any longer, but I know my purpose is to teach my grandchildren the truth. I don't recognize it either, Robin. Years and years ago, when the Mandela effect was noticed, I was like, the world I'm in is not quite the same. And as time has progressed, it has gotten worse. I'm not saying it's the Mandela effect, but it sure feels odd that reality doesn't matter, that common sense doesn't fucking matter, that history doesn't matter. What have we witnessed? What have you and I fucking witnessed? The movie Idiocracy, which was a joke of a movie, now looks like a fucking documentary. You don't recognize this world any longer? I don't either. How the fuck can every single level of government just ignore what has been captured on video, captured with pictures, and captured with email correspondence? And not one fucking government institution in America will press charges and make arrests. Not one grand jury has been convened and found people like Bill Gates or Les Wexner or any of the other hundreds of people whose names show up. None of them are being prosecuted for the most heinous fucking crimes against the most innocent people on the world. Children. These children weren't in Palestine or Gaza being put in suicide vests at age 5 or 6 and brainwashed by their parents to kill everyone. No, these are cute little American kids that like SpongeBob and Blue's Clues. They like watching Mrs. Rachel on TV, and they get kidnapped. They get stolen by government's child protection services, and they just disappear. I don't recognize this world. How many times have we heard, if you fuck up, if I fuck up, you can expect a visit from the local police or the sheriff's department or the state police or the attorney general's office or the feds, the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, the DHS. Any and all of them can just show up and arrest you at any time for any crime they think you might have committed. But not one law enforcement institution at any fucking level anywhere is going after these people. Not one prosecutor, not one grand jury, anywhere at any level of government is arresting these motherfuckers. So Robin says, I know my purpose is to teach my grandchildren the truth. I'll tell you what, Robin, I spent 2 decades teaching my sons the truth. One of them knows the truth. The other one has elected to deny it. One of my sons knows communism is fucking satanic and evil. And what we're dealing with in this world right now is a direct consequence of those belief systems, those religious belief systems that created communism. The other one, yeah, one believes and understands and knows. The other fucking denies it. Even my sons, they're fucking idiot, right? One of them. Unbelievable. And I see this with everyone I know. Family members, friends, parents, children, just fucking blow it all off. They ignore the facts. They ignore the history. They ignore the evidence. They ignore the truth. They pretend it's not important, and they just want to go on living their worthless fucking lives while hating people like you, Robin, or me, or Ooman, or anyone else, because it conflicts with their brainwashing that they've gotten and the fucking illnesses they're suffering because they took the Jim Jones juice, the fucking evil vaccines that are chewing their fucking brains away with microclots and fucking spike proteins and prawns and every other fucking thing that destroys the human mind and psyche. Unfucking believable. I don't recognize this world anymore. I'm going to call back, if I may. I'm going to call you all back to the comment about spending a long time. Questions, comments down below, guys. Stack them up for me. I spent these days and weeks and months studying history, going, okay, John, when you were a young man, you wanted to be a United States Marine, one of the few and the proud. Because even at that age, I had a belief and an understanding that America was great, that freedom was important, that morality was key, that it was worth, freedom was worth fighting for. Freedom isn't free. All right. And even back then, you know, I had Hollywood, you know, A Death Before Dishonor, a Marine Corps movie, Heartbreak Ridge, a Marine Corps movie, Platoon, an Army movie that was put together by a retired Marine. And then, of course, Full Metal Jacket. I got, you know, plus all the John Wayne movies, right? All the war movies. And then the disgruntled war movies like Rambo and Missing in Action. Right, I went through the movie side, and then I became a Marine, and then I learned Marine history and military history, and I recognized why people did what I did, why people would want to fight for a country. That was my purpose, right? Then I read, like I said, countless hours going through this. I had this Marine Corps history book that was about 2.5 inches thick. It was like 16 inches tall, 12 inches wide, this giant encyclopedia of patriotism. And there's one for the Army because my brother got one as well. And I'm sure there's one for the Navy and one for the Air Force. I'm sure of it. But you learn what your purpose is. You know your purpose even before you understand it, if it's for the right reasons. And then you understand the real reasons. And that world is the one I want back. The world of goodness and decency, where evil isn't allowed to persist, where evil isn't allowed to rule everyone. Like these fucking Palantir guys. What's that guy's name? Alex Karp? Looks like he's on fucking acid. He's stoned out of his fucking mind talking about how he's going to kill people and has killed people, and how Palantir is going to run blackmail ops on every politician. In fact, they're already admitting it. They've already been caught. Peter Thiel, Palantir, Alex Karp, all these fucking scumbags. And you know their, shall we say, sexual orientation. You know their religious affiliation. You know their primary nation of choice. And you know, and it's been caught, right? They have massive amounts of blackmail now. They've lost Epstein, but don't worry, they have plenty of blackmail. And they'll continue to get it by monitoring everybody's communications, their emails, their texts. They have the power with their computers to break into everything. You cannot be invisible anymore. They'll blackmail everyone. So hopefully, right, none of us are cheating on our spouses, cheating on our taxes, cheating anything, or doing anything wrong or bad or illegal. I'm not doing a damn thing illegal. Doesn't matter. They'll just make shit up. They'll just make videos or pictures or letters or emails. They can manufacture anything they fucking want. They can create fake identities out there and have them, those fake identities, emailing and talking to you about illegal things. And then blackmail you with them. Or have you fucking arrested with them. Right? I haven't done anything illegal. Believe me, I'm right here. Nothing illegal. But they could come and arrest me anytime. That's the world we're in. It's not the world I want to be in and recognize. We're going to have to fight these fuckers at some point. It's coming. I won't tell you to do anything illegal because then I'm a criminal. I won't tell you to do anything harmful or dangerous because then YouTube will do more than just not allow me to comment on my own videos. Then YouTube and X and everyone else out there in the social media and high-tech world would silence me, right? They may do it anyways. They don't like you, folks. They don't like me. Oh, that's fucking funny. Wow. Unbelievable, these people, folks. Unbelievable. Teach your children, teach your grandchildren. It's really important, folks. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and try a King James copy of the Holy Bible. Protect yourselves. Get real U.S. history, real military history, and understand it. Right? Understand it. You can commit it to memory, but that needs to be passed on because we're going to go through living hell with this shit it's the fan situation. I don't see any way out of this. I don't see any way out of this at all. Okay, I got Nikki sent me a message. She says, yeah, YouTube and everyone is censoring. She says, my chats won't show. I'm trying to open on a tablet. So they're censoring Nikki. Of course they'll censor Nikki. Right? She's got a mouth like a sailor. Oh, good golly. I'm telling you. Fucking telling you, folks. Our purpose is to win back freedom. Our purpose is to wake people up. Our purpose is to get them prepared. Our purpose is to know and understand what is right and wrong. We may end up going through a whole lot more than transferring to a new world order, from the old world to the new world order. We may go through a whole lot more than that. We may end up going through a complete and total civilization reset that the world hasn't seen in anywhere from 250 to 2,000 years ago. How do we know? I don't trust anything the fucking government says. I think it's all a fucking lie. I think it's pretty important. Nikki just wrote to me in a private message, a bunch more of your chats just disappeared just now. Yeah, they're just going through and scrubbing everyone right out of here. That's what they're doing. All I tried doing was telling people, put everything in all caps. And so I'm really sorry if you've been trying to put comments in there and they're not showing up. Yeah, like there's no comments anywhere in the comment section from 5:03 to 5:18. No. Nope, and nope, right? I started the show at 4:30, but there's these fucking people, folks. The evil's coming. There's going to come a point where I can't be online anymore, where they shut me off and cut me off. I need you prepared before then. I need you to understand, like Robin, we have a purpose. It's not just self-preservation, even though that's key. If you can't save yourself, we can't save ourselves, we can't save anyone else. You got to put yourself in a position to be prepared for what's coming. Okay. To be prepared for alien invasion. Oh, yeah, that didn't work. We need to be prepared for Mexico is in a civil war, and Cuba's attacked a speedboat, and Iran. I really think they're going to go with the Iran card. I think they're going to false flag attack an American ship. There's going to be a bunch of missiles exchanged. And oh, yeah, by the way, it appears that France and England are now supplying Ukraine with nuclear missiles, nuclear weapons tipped missiles. Why? So they have more negotiation, more bargaining power with Russia over their surrender. Well, the way I see that is Putin, Russia, need to have their military nuclear weapon sniffing equipment out. And if they detect any nuclear material, nuclear weapons material, it's a certain frequency of radiation that is emitted by nuclear weapons that is different than, say, nuclear energy fuel. They can tell the difference. If they find it, they should hit it with a missile and destroy it. Because I can guarantee that Ukraine will use that nuclear weapon. Now, will Britain, if they send a missile, or France send their military, their technicians, their equipment, because only they know how to launch those missiles? Yeah, you bet. The same way I suggested that, well, if China or Russia wanted Iran to have nukes, they could send them there, right? Well, it'd be a dangerous move, but they'd have to send their own people, their own equipment, everything. Because one, you couldn't trust the Iranians with it, and two, they wouldn't know how to do it anyways. Same with Ukraine. But does Russia, in seeing that, if they detect nuclear weapons being placed inside of Ukraine, do they have the authority under the special military operations decree or international law or the corrupt and ignored treaty that NATO signed with Russia? Do they have the right and authority to take those missiles out? Just destroy them into a bunch of garbage pieces? Kind of hard to say, right? What if Russia and China put nuclear weapons right across the Rio Grande? What if they put them up in Toronto, aiming them into our country? Would we like that? No. In fact, one of the primary reasons Russia decided to do the special military operation and liberate the ethnic Russians and the Eastern Russian cities that were inside Ukraine is because their people were being killed and NATO expansion was continuing to be threatened, and they wanted to put nukes right on the Russian border in Ukraine. And Russia wasn't going to have any of it. So now France and Britain are going to do that? I don't think Russia is going to allow that, folks. But Russia did make one very powerful and important statement with respect to these weapons coming from France and England. They said that if anything happens, Russia will hold France and England responsible for what is done with their weapons if they are launched into Russia. The fucking insanity of it all, my friends. The fucking insanity of it all. Chance favors the prepared mind. I'm going to say this again. Go on Amazon. I'm gonna make sure that they're still there, because the world I came from, you could actually buy potassium iodide tablets. Oh, would you look at that? ThyroSafe, right there on Amazon. ThyroSafe, potassium iodide for radiation emergency protection, nuclear fallout survival gear, and emergency supplies for prepper kits. Be sure to get enough. Get one of those boxes for everyone that you want to save. Potassium iodide protects your thyroid from radioactive. There we go. Let's get my color back to white, shall we? Potassium iodide floods your thyroid so it does not get radioactive material in it that will not leave, and then you get, well, kills your thyroid and you die from the cancer it causes. So you need potassium iodide tablets. I've got a shit pile of them, so that whoever's around me, if shit gets nasty, you just take that and it protects you. That's the one cancer that you get. That's how nuclear fallout or radiation kills you. Never mind a little bit of skin getting burned or flaked off. It's the fucking dead thyroid and cancer you get from it. Anyways, yeah, I don't recognize this world either. I don't recognize it, Robin. And I know the rest of you guys are probably scratching your heads as well. You know, not recognizing what's going on, recognizing our own country. I want everyone to be prepared. I want everyone to be safe. I want everyone to understand our country, our history, our culture, our traditions, and the religion, or rather moral code that this nation was founded under. It was not founded under bringing everyone you can here, having as many kids as you can, and then asking everyone else through the welfare system to pay for it. Whether you're a Somali in Minneapolis or you're a bunch of Hasidic Jews in upstate New York or down in New Jersey. Oh, that's being exposed right now, folks. That's being exposed now. They even have their own private Shalom police out there harassing people for asking questions about fraud. All of these fucking people. If you're not our culture and our religious beliefs, then you belong to the other groups out there from the Middle East that believe in pedophilia and murder and rape and theft and lying to everyone else just to make sure that your religion gets its way. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Share the internet address on this video. Share it. Share it with everyone. Share your memberships. I don't give a fuck. Get the word out. Wake people up. They need to be prepared, or it's going to be their asses. God bless America. Semper Fidelis means always faithful. It's the Marine Corps motto, Semper Fi. Faithful to what I know history, military action, going all the way back to our revolution and why it was fought and against who and for what reasons we fought against the King of England and why we fought against communism and why our enemies are now domestic enemies in this country and why our domestic enemies are in charge of the government. It's because they've been bought. They've been paid for. They're compromised. They're evil fucks. But they'll stand there in clean clothes and smell pretty. And we're supposed to believe they're good. Are you prepared?